etc. And the numbers that come out also every year are very low if you want to compare to nurses and professions like that. If you look on the streets, the number of amputees, you see the things that they're doing is either begging or hawking. It's very difficult to find amputees being shown to do something more positive while this is there. So initially coming, I thought also there are very few amputees in the country. However, it's also because of stigma. So a lot are hidden in the background, or because you cannot afford to move from one place to another, you prefer to just stay in the background. So that's one of the key things that SACLEG also is trying to solve. Make it accessible so you also have economic empowerment and not stay behind the scenes and get to be seen as part of the community and reduce the stigma. Sometimes I think the most difficult thing is you want to go out and help people and they tell you, I'm sorry, we can't afford. Or you see the type of prosthetics they have is not adding value into their lives, or they just use it and you can see the pain from the movement. Yes, those have been I think the lowest moments, because you try to help but you can't afford to help anyone, as I'm sure you've seen from what you do. SACLEG, as you've said, is a business to business. So we focus on dealing with healthcare centers or with prosthetists and hospitals. We do not go down to the amputees as individuals to be able to sell to them our components. And the reasoning behind this, we do not have a center where we can fit amputees, but we rely on professionals who are trained to do the other side. So we do what we are good at, which is to produce quality prosthetics, but give it to organizations who are able to do also what they do best and fit the amputees. That's where the difference is. So you do not find individuals or amputees coming to buy directly from us, but only the major institutions or hospitals coming to us. At the moment, with the institutions we're dealing with, they also understand our business models, and also because our price is not so high, they're not overpricing the users or the amputees who buy from them. And we have also tried to reach an agreement with them on the least price that they should be able to give. Of course, not everyone is going to do it, as we know, but at least it's more accessible than whatever is. Currently, for what we have imported, but come next year, we are going to source locally. We already have agreements with organizations that are doing that. So everything will be done for us. Manufacturing and assembly will be done locally. And we hope that this will bring the prices much lower as opposed to what we still currently have. So it's also a long-term goal for us to build Kenya by Kenya. In our industry, you're not able to do anything by yourself. So we are partnering with National Council, trying to have them understand what we do and get access to our products for all the users there. We are also working with the Ministry of Health. They understand what we do, and they are helping us spread out the word of inclusion and accessibility. And we're working also with communities of amputees by providing information. We also try our best to partner with them in terms of work and just to be able actually to give out information on what we do and create a community that they are happy to come to us, share ideas, and also we can share with them what we have. In SACLEG, we believe in what we call freedom of mobility. So for us, freedom of mobility is not you have the leg and walk, but what else has it impacted in your life? Are you able now to work? Are you able to provide for your family and your friends? Is your community getting better? Are you able to dance or do anything fun that you like? So for us, it's the community at large and not just a product. We don't believe anyone can sell a product. But for us, we believe in holistic approach to everything we do to grow the individual. You can appreciate that we started just last year. In November is when we officially launched SACLEG in Kenya. And since then, we have able to provide about 60, slightly more than 60 up to now, systems into the market and across East Africa. So what we try to do is get whoever is using our system into a community group, which is run by one of our staff members who is also an amputee, an amazing lady called Meg. And they're able to share peer-to-peer information, and also we also give any information we have that we find is relevant, down from cleaning your stamp, access to places you can go to be able to reach prosthetists easiest, the ones that we know we work with, and just dance and fun and information for what you want here. In SACLEG, we have a package called Freedom of Mobility package. And this is for individuals who want to reach out and support amputees or families of people with amputees. So you can pay towards these packages, and we have a list of amputees waiting to be supported. So this is one of the things we are doing to make it as accessible as possible. And maybe if amputees can tell you, getting a system, when you talk to them, it's like buying a car or buying land. The expense is quite high. So if we do have these programs, and also we have donors who can reach out to us so that we are able to get everyone moving and get the freedom of mobility out. We deal with only lower limb amputations, meaning from the leg down. So if you're looking from the knee, but this is for organizations and institutions, we don't sell to individuals, you're looking at about $600 for above the knee. So if you need the knee going down, and below, you're looking at about 350 USD.
So my name is Emmanuel Mayaka. I'm a prosthetist and orthotist. I work here in SACLEG as the regional service manager. For sure, the number of prosthetists, not only in Kenya but globally, is very, very low. And so for me, what really inspired me is the fact that I always wanted to be in the medical field. And so there was a wide range of choices that I needed to make. And when I learned about prosthetics and the impact it has on people, then I thought it's the right thing for me. Some other health cadres, like nursing, clinical officer, doctors and all that, their work is purely clinical. But the most interesting thing about prosthetic work is that it is half clinical, half technical. Yeah, so at one point we are doing engineering work, and at the other point we are doing clinical work. So it is a very, very interesting field, I must say, and that is what I love about it. Prosthetics is as old as mankind. We have different causes of amputation in the days that are past. That includes natural calamities and wars, and of course attack by wild animals and those sort of factors. So prosthetics is very old, and there are very interesting images of how our people in the past used to just make prosthetics out of wood. just carving something to compensate the lost part and all that. But that technology came in, and in developing countries, it has moved so fast. In low, middle income countries like Kenya, we are still stuck with technology like 100 years back. For instance, if you go to countries like Germany and the US, they have gone to the extent of making prosthetics that work like the lost limb, that they use the brain. You just use the brain to control the prosthesis. Introduce to you to one of our clients, who is actually my workmate, Maggie. So Maggie is a below knee amputee. So what that means is that our amputation was done slightly below the knee. So the process of fitting a sack leg system for Maggie is very simple. So first of all, she has to protect her stump, so that it does not get any injury or any friction from the system. She has to wear what we call a silicone liner. So a silicone liner is a very highly comfortable sock-like material that she wears on top of the stump, so that way we are sure that it will facilitate our comfort, and at the same time it will it will protect her from any injury. A below knee amputee, or what we call a transtibial amputee, then we do not need to give her a mechanical knee because she already has her knee. So what we do is that the prosthetist manufactures a socket. So the socket is this plastic material which is made according to the size of the stump. Okay, so this is the socket, as I've said, and then to compensate for our height, there is a small component there that ensures that the length of this prosthesis is equal to the other sound leg, and then we attach it now to the sack leg foot. So that way, our prosthetic system is already ready. And of course, I mentioned that with the foot, the amputee is not supposed to walk barefoot. So that means you have to fit it with a shoe. So just like any other foot, you fit it with a pair of socks, the same one that she will of course wear on the other side, and then of course we also advise on the heel, the length of the heel of the foot that is normally recommended. And for Maggie, you will notice that her shoe is flat, so she can change different shoes, but to ensure that the heel remains the same. If she wears like a high heel, then it will completely be very difficult for her to use the system. So once the shoe is put on like this, the next thing of course is to for her to wear the system. And for amputees, what we normally do as prosthetists is that we train them on how to wear the foot, because this is part of their body and they spend much time with the system alone at home. So we ensure that they are able to fit on their own, and so in this case I'm going to allow Maggie to put on the prosthesis. And she will push the stump inside, and then there is the other sleeve on top, which is for suspension. So that means the sleeve inside is to protect a stump, and the outer one is to hold the prosthesis in position so that it doesn't come out, so that whenever she's out there walking on the leg, there is no risk of falling or the leg falling off.
My My name is Magdalene Chisoli, and I'm the community manager here at Cycleg. My work entails, creating a community of amputees who are empowered, amputees who, are able to live life normally, because we all know, especially for amputees, or rather amputation, this is a journey, and if you go it solo, it can be, frustrating. It can be a lot, for someone to go through. But when you have a community, you have a tribe of people, you are able to share experiences, you're able to share your stories and just educate each other in terms of resources and where they can get, let's say better prosthetics, where they can get, let's say liners or things that you need as an amputee. So other than that, I also, do a bit of communication. I work closely with the communication department, and we want to get the word out there because we've realized that knowledge is power. Once you're empowered as an amputee, you'll be able, to live life normally and be able to know where to get what information, basically. Just because someone is an amputee doesn't mean that mentally they are also not okay. And for someone to be given an opportunity, then you must have the qualifications and probably the experience and also the willingness as an individual. Do you want to be impactful? Do you want to make a difference in the society? Are you willing to share your story? Are you willing, to go out of your way just to make a difference in the community? So there's a lot that has to be checked, confirmed, put in place in order for someone, to be employed. Personally, I'm proud of myself. I've gone to school. I have my papers. I also have the experience. And I am at that stage in my life where I want to share my story, because this is not something I used to do growing up. I used to hide my limp. I would never want anyone, to even ask me any question to do with my, situation or challenge, and even my prosthetic. And the fact that I'm here, I am willing to do that, then it's a good thing, I believe so. And for us, we have a WhatsApp group. It's called Cycleg Tribe, where we engage with, personally as an amputee, we engage with other amputees. We get them to share their stories, ask questions, and other than that, we also have a podcast where I host, and we also give other opportunities to amputees, and not just amputees, also, guardians, parents. These are our heroes, and these are people who are there to support, and we are able to lean on them as amputees, and also even the professionals, for them to even go to school and do a course, in prosthetics and be able to make a difference in someone else's life. We'd also want to hear their perspective, and what drove them, to engage in such a thing. So my condition is congenital. By that, I mean that I was born like that. Personally, I don't know how it felt like to walk on both legs. And it's because of the prosthetic that I'm able, to walk, stand, and just live life normally. And I would tell you, growing up, before I even got my first prosthetic, I was using a crutch. And this is something that anyone who's used to, a crutch would tell you how cumbersome it is. And it was not really easy for me, using the crutches, until now I was able to acquire a prosthetic. And I would say that that is when my life changed, because there are things that I couldn't do while using the crutch that I can now do for the fact that I have my prosthetic. The first thing I did was carrying water, 20 liters of water. I couldn't do that with my crutch. And the fact that now I had an assistive device that could enable me, stand, support myself, I was able to do that. And other than that, I've been able to do other activities, other things that, people believe that just because you're an amputee, you're limited. And for me, I don't see that as a limitation. For me personally, I used to, I'd say, comparing myself with the other people I used to interact with, my friends or even my relatives. And you realize, wait a minute, they have 2 legs. How come I have 1 leg? And personally, I would lock myself in a room and just, question and find out, I feel like I'm different. Why am I different from them? And it really, I really had a difficult time, accepting the way I am, because remember, this is a permanent situation. I can't change it. It's not like a pastor will come and